So I was actually wondering if I should record this video, taking into consideration that this update's going to be going live tomorrow, so you can check out all of the content for yourself. But then I realized there's probably going to be a lot of people that are not going to have enough time to check out the live stream that I did earlier today, where I go in depth into every single thing that they talked about during the digital event that happened today. And so I decided to do this video that's going to be more of a condensed version of all of the information that was given during that live stream and my thoughts on everything that we're going to be getting that's going to be going live tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm probably going to be live streaming the game, obviously, at least if I'm able to. I'm definitely going to try. But yeah, so starting things off, we already knew that we were going to be getting Loosened Nargacuga, as well as seething Basilgeuse in the first title update. What we didn't know is that we were also going to be getting the Metal Wraths. So as you guys can see, we have Silver Rathalos right here, as well as Gold Rathian. All of these monsters, according to what they said during the digital event, are going to be getting their own armors and I believe weapons as well. At least that is what I seem to remember from the update. Sorry, I'm a little bit scatterbrained here. But yeah, these are going to be the 4 new monsters that are going to be added into the game that we're going to be able to tackle starting tomorrow. Then they're also going to be adding a new Anomaly rank, which is going to be Anomaly rank 5. Right now, we can only go up to Anomaly quests up to rank 4. They're going to be adding a rank 5, and in that rank 5, we already know that we're getting Luna, Mizu, Diablos, Rathalos, Astalos, Zinogre, Seregios, Magmal, Mudron, and there is a second page, so we don't know all of the monsters that are actually getting added, unless they've already added that to the official website. Last time I checked, it wasn't there yet, so I'm not going to be checking again. But yes, another important thing about the Anomaly 5 quest is that unlike the Anomaly 4 quests, it doesn't seem like these are going to be unlocked unless there was some kind of a translation mistake or something like that. But according to what they were saying, as you guys can see right here, Anomaly 5 monsters will be unlocked through Anomaly investigations, which is going to be a new mechanic because, yes, investigations are making a return. Very much the same way that we had tempered investigations back in Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter World Iceborne, we are going to be getting anomaly investigations that are somewhat similar, not exactly the same, but somewhat similar. We'll talk about those as well. Now, as you guys can see right here, when it comes to anomaly investigations, these are going to be like the monster that you're going to be getting on the investigation is going to be random. The level of the investigation is going to be random as well. The number of players is going to be random. I don't remember if they talked about time limit, but basically all of the parameters of the quest are going to be random. Some of you guys that maybe have not played World, that you guys have started Monster Hunter with Rise, or maybe you just, you've played Monster Hunter before, but you skipped World and Iceborne because you didn't have the consoles, PC, whatever. Whatever the reason happens to be, in case you did not play World, you might not be aware when I say something like number of players, it's because these quests will specify like, oh, this quest can only be done solo, this quest can be done with 2 players, this quest can be done with 4 players, this quest can be done with 3 players. That was one of the things that could be like a factor when it came to these quests back in World and Iceborne, just for those of you that are not familiar with the way investigations work. Now, back in World and Iceborne, we used to have something which were tiers, so like lower, easier monsters to kill, like a Puke Puke or a Great Jagras or something like that. Those would be easy monsters, and so they would be like tier 1. Then you'd have tier 2s where you'd have like Rathalos and Azure Rathalos and like, higher, more difficult monsters. And that would be tier 2 quests. And then you'd have tier 3, which would be Elder Dragons. So it seems like these are going to follow somewhat of a similar pattern there, except instead of having 3 tiers, you're going to be having these levels, which ultimately I'm just going to assume that certain levels are going to amount to a certain tier. Maybe instead of having 3 tiers, you might end up having like 4 or 5, whatever. But they did clarify that the higher the level an investigation is, the more precious the materials are going to be and stuff like that. So different level investigations are going to be providing you with different materials that you will then be using for curious crafting, the augmentation systems we've talked about in a couple of previous videos, which I'll get into again a little bit further ahead in this video. But just be aware that, you're going to be getting these investigations. These are going to basically be dynamic quests for those of you that have never done investigations. And in those dynamic quests, you will be given dynamic objectives. Now, in World and Iceborne, this was really cool. Personally, I really liked it. And it was something that I said I would like to see investigations as well in Rise. And apparently it was something that the community at large really requested. So they're bringing these types of quests back. Now, doing these investigations is what's going to allow you to apparently unlock some of the Anomaly 5 monsters, which we'll have to see how that stuff works out. Once I get hands-on with this, I'll be able to, maybe make a guide or something to explain to you guys how this feature is going to work. Currently, my prediction as to how this is going to work, it's going to be like, you're going to be doing an Anomaly quest, and then maybe you'll get an Anomaly investigation. It might be level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something along those lines, right? A low level. And then you'll do that low-level investigation, and that will in turn give you slightly higher-level investigations, and you'll kind of just like keep leveling up through the investigations in that manner. That is the way that I think it's going to work, particularly if we draw parallels back to World and Iceborne. That is what makes the most sense. Whether or not that is going to be the case, I don't know, but we're going to be knowing pretty soon. So this video is not going to be relevant for a large period of time, which is why I'm not taking particular care about, let me make sure to really study up on all this information. Like tomorrow, none of this is going to matter because I'm going to be able to give you a better picture of how this stuff is going to work. For now, just know that this is a system and it looks like we have a limit of 120 investigations that we can keep, which means investigations that we don't want to do, you'll actually have to delete them. You can see that there's a prompt to delete here in the bottom right corner. So, you're going to have to manage these quests and decide which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to delete, so on and so forth. Personally, I'm hoping that these quests are really challenging. They've already said the higher the level of a quest, the harder the monster in there is going to be. So I'm hoping that these get really challenging because I want a reason to bring more people in. Because right now, as it stands in both Rise and Sunbreak, if I bring just one more player into any of my quests, we're going to completely obliterate the monster. I'm hoping that in these quests, that's not going to be the case. And bringing other players is actually going to feel like, worthwhile because the quest doing it solo is going to be extremely hard. That is at least my hope when it comes to this. I'll still want to do some of these solo, then I'll want to do some of these with other players so that, to make the grind a little bit more efficient. As you guys can see, I saved this particular screen grab just to say, and as that level increases, the monsters become gradually stronger. And as you can see, the level goes up pretty high. I think in the presentation, this level went up to like 80 something or something along those lines, which, yeah, this thing is going to go pretty friggin' high. Then we have the curious weapon crafting. So in here, you can see how the weapon crafting, the curious weapon augmentation on the weapons is going to work. We're still not exactly sure how we can unlock more of the things here, or if that is even a possibility. What I can tell you is that in order just to get level 1 attack boost on it, you're going to need 2 attack decorations to be equipped. Or you're going to need, 4 if you want to have +2 attack. That's the way that this is going to work. Same thing for all the other things. Now, I realize that elemental boost actually only required 1 and then 2 for its respective level 1 and level 2. So they're going to make it easier for you to get more elemental damage as opposed for you to actually getting more raw damage. But, they showed this very quickly. There's really not a whole lot to take in here. What you can tell is that when it comes to weapons, the curious crafting system is going to be a deterministic system, which is good. It's not going to be random. You're going to be able to choose the things that you want. This is a very good thing. When it comes to armors, though, yeah. He just said it. He literally just said it. Armor can be upgraded with random improvements. And I was like, no. Personally, I don't like this. Will I engage with it? Of course I will, because I want to be as powerful as I possibly can in the video game, because that's just the thing to do. But I do not like the fact that that is how this works. They specifically say upgrades can be ignored if you want. It's almost as if they're predicting, like, the community is not going to like the fact that this thing is RNG as hell, okay? Like, just to give you guys an idea, this is just one simple upgrade, and in here he got defense of +15. Other things that he could have gotten that we know. Chain crit +1. So, when you have a system that is so random to the point where A, you can get +15 defense, or you can get chain crit +1. Who knows if you can't get things like weakness exploit, critical boost, expert, something like that, right? You can sit here and talk about like, oh, you might get fire resistance +2 or weakness exploit. You know, it's not a system that I'm a big fan of whenever it comes to that. Of course, I'm going to engage with it. I'm going to be trying to do my best to craft a mixed set that is going to be super omega broken powerful. But it's not necessarily, you know, it's going to be one of those situations where very much like whenever you apply extreme levels of RNG to something, there's going to be the haves and the have-nots. There's going to be players that are going to be lucky and they're going to get really cool sets. There's going to be players that are going to be unlucky and they're going to get complete trash. Kind of like the same way that it worked with decoration RNG back in Monster Hunter World, where some players would be lucky enough to get a couple of more attack decorations, whereas some of us would not. And that's just, you know, it is what it is. Some of us would not get magazine decorations for pretty much the entire friggin' length of base Monster Hunter World. Because I only got one very close to the end of World's life cycle. That's when I got my friggin' magazine decoration. It was insane. So I'm not a huge fan of the curious armor crafting. I like the curious weapon crafting. But, you know, ultimately it is a bunch of more hours of content that we're going to be getting. You know, whether you want to engage with it or not, that's going to be your decision. Like they say, upgrades can be ignored if you want. I mean, we're already omega powerful as it is, so it's whatever. The reason I put this particular one here is that you can see the armor is going to get like a special symbol indicating that it has been upgraded and with the curious crafting thing. So, you know, just get ready for it. As you can see, for instance, the augmentation status on this helmet, it got +2 defense, +1 fire resistance, +1 dragon resistance, and speed eating level 1. I don't think you can keep continuously just adding stuff. I think it's like you add something, it's going to be random, and then you get to choose whether you want to keep it or not. That is currently the way that I think this works. Then there's also this system over here, which is the Anomaly Research Lab, where you'll be able to exchange materials that you get from Anomaly quests, and you'll be able to exchange them for things that are useful for you. Like, for instance, this Ember Essence, which I'm assuming is going to be something that allows you to craft stuff like for the weapon upgrade things. At least that's what I'm assuming. I'm not exactly sure. It says can be used as a material for curious crafting. Maybe this is one of the things that is used for the armor upgrades. Who knows? We don't know exactly how the system works yet. Maybe there might even be something that allows you to like influence which skills go on the armor. Didn't go into too much detail there. They just said it's random. So, you know, and then you'll be able to exchange some of the stuff for King Armor Spheres as well, in case you need Armor Spheres, which I would not recommend because you can get all of these other materials. The one thing that you can't get is these essences, which, you know, we'll have to see how important they are. But everything else you can just kind of get through other means, so it's probably not worth it for you to, you know, use those materials that way, but we'll have to see how that stuff works out. And then finally, the last thing that they talked about is event quests. Event quests are going to be starting on the 18th of August. And they're going to be featuring some event quests, which they're calling dual threats, which will require you to hunt 2 monsters like Silver Rathalos and Gold Rathian at the same time, which if you've played Monster Hunter previously, particularly Generations, you might be particularly familiar with this quest. It is a pain in the ass, but it is also extremely fun. And that's pretty much everything that I can remember to just keep on a very like shorter video. If you want more details in this, then I'd recommend you watch the live stream that we did earlier. Skip ahead like 30 minutes and that'll get you right into when the show is, my reactions, and my deep analysis onto everything. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you out, gave you the news quick and dirty. I'm not really going to be doing any editing, so if you guys enjoyed it, hit it up with a like, subscribe, bell notification icon, all of that jazz. I'm going to be doing my best to live stream tomorrow. I'm not sure if I will be able to or not, because like I said, kids are on summer break, so we'll see how that stuff pans out. But yeah, for now, this is going to be it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.